Welcome back. Savannah Mayor Van Johnson stepping up to the podium this morning to talk more about the city's emergency declaration. Let's send you live there now.
Is COVID-19, a highly communicable disease that may cause severe respiratory distress and death, particularly among certain vulnerable segments of the population. And whereas since the initial outbreak in China, COVID-19 has spread throughout the world at a rapid pace to include numerous instances of infection and death within the United States, and whereas on March the 2nd, March the 2nd, the first two presumptively confirmed cases of COVID-19 infection appeared in Georgia, a number which has continued to grow as the disease appears to spread across Georgia counties. And whereas on March the 11th, 2020, the World Health Organization declared the COVID-19 virus a pandemic, signaling its anticipated spread to all countries on the globe. And whereas the World Health Organization Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, excuse my pronunciation of his name, reports that the World Health Organization expects to see the number of cases, the number of deaths, and the number of affected countries climb even higher. And whereas since March 11th, 2020, incidents of infection in the United States and particularly in the state of Georgia have grown exponentially, and whereas on March the 19th, 2020, or as of March the 19th, 2020, the United States has reported 10,442 cases of COVID infections and 150 deaths. And whereas as of March the 19th, 2020, Georgia reported 287 cases of COVID-19 infection and 10 associated deaths, which include 2 in nearby Glenn County, signaling the rapid approach of the disease toward the city of Savannah. And whereas local governments throughout the country, including Atlanta, Georgia, have implemented emergency measures to stem the rapid spread of COVID-19. And whereas the city of Savannah anticipates that this disease will continue to spread, perpetuating a public health crisis, thereby necessitating implementation of certain emergency measures designed to halt the spread of this pandemic. And whereas in the judgment of the mayor of Savannah, with advice from the city manager and other subject matter experts, emergency conditions exist within the city requiring extraordinary and immediate corrective actions for the protection of the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Savannah. And whereas to prevent or minimize injury to people, certain actions are required. Now, therefore, pursuant to the authority invested in me by local and state law, it is hereby declared that a local state of emergency exists and shall continue until the conditions requiring this declaration are abated. Therefore, it is ordered that the city manager shall activate emergency operation plans implicated by this order. As determined by the city manager, and to the extent possible, city employees should begin working remotely, teleworking remotely from home. It is further ordered within the territorial jurisdictional limits of the city of Savannah that all bars and nightclubs which do not serve food shall be closed, that all gyms and fitness centers, movie theaters, live performance venues, bowling alleys, and arcades shall be closed, that restaurants and other eating and drinking establishments where food is served shall reduce its seating capacity by 50% for dine-in services and may continue preparing and offering food and drink to customers via delivery service, drive-through, or takeout, provided, however, that cafeterias in hospitals, nursing homes, hospice centers, or similar facilities shall not be subject to these restrictions and may continue normal operations. Funerals, consisting of more than 10 mourners are encouraged to conduct graveside services or postpone these services to a later date. That all sightseeing, guided, and or narrated tours shall cease. That all metered and garage parking shall be free for the first hour. That this declaration shall take effect at 8:00 a.m. on tomorrow, Saturday, March the 21st, 2020, and this declaration shall expire on April the 5th unless otherwise amended, extended, or canceled by the mayor, so declared and entered at 4:49 on yesterday's date. It should be noted also that this is on the next Savannah City Council agenda for confirmation as required by the city charter. These are and continue to be extraordinary times. We have never seen times like this before. There is no playbook for how to address this. So we are just doing the very best we can. We have heard from subject matter experts and those who are not subject matter experts. We've heard from people who have given us suggestions about what to do and how to do it based on what they're hearing from across the world. Our reality is that we have to do what is best for Savannah. And at this point, Savannah only. We want to manage very thoughtfully. We want to manage from a position of information and facts and recommendations from health professionals and not from a position of fear or terror. And we hope to continue to manage this way. It is important for us to take these thoughtful and deliberate measures to protect our citizens, our employees, and our businesses from the large gatherings, which is known and proven to be the breeding ground for the COVID-19 virus. While these times are uncomfortable for many people, we believe that this is the most responsible course of action at this time. It should be noted that we will not hesitate to take additional actions should the conditions require it. It is our hope that where possible, people will stay at home and limit their movements. It's our hope that our young people, many who feel that they're invincible, need to realize that it's been proven that they can be carriers of the disease and they can get sick. So we're asking for them to please be responsible. And we're asking for everybody who knows the words of prayer to continue to pray for our city, for our employees, for our citizens, and for those who are working around the world, not only to include our president and our national leaders, our governor, our state leaders, our Savannah City Council, our chairman and our county leaders, and everyone who is facing this very new phenomenon at this very, very uncertain time in our history. What we do at this time will define how we go forward from here henceforth. And so we want to do that again from a position of responsibility and from a position of sober-mindedness and from a position of being reasonable within the conditions that we're experiencing at this time within our corporate limits. So that is all of my prepared comments. If we have any questions, we will address those at this time.
Mr. Mayor, and this might be a question for the city attorney.
Sure.
But with this order, is there any, I guess, action that can be taken by council, perhaps a majority vote, anything that would reverse this or tweak it? Or is this what stands for now until the mayor says it doesn't?
This stands until the next regularly scheduled council meeting, which is this coming Thursday. At that time, they can do just about anything you say. They approved it, they could reject it, which I don't believe they're going to, or they can tweak it. So all options are on the table.
And that's the consensus that you're getting right now from the majority of council, that they are on board?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you listened in on the call yesterday, but there seemed to be consensus among all 9 that this was the right thing to do.
Is there an enforcement process for this? I know obviously it would be impossible to have the manpower to physically enforce it, but will people be getting tickets if they're out in these places, or what?
The city will, the city manager is responsible for the enforcement of any action by the council, by the mayor and council. So these will be enforced to the best of our ability. But you're right. I don't know that the city staff will be out, or the police department or code enforcement will be out checking restaurants and bars to make sure that they are complying. But they will be given the orders that if there's a violation, then the business will be ticketed.
And at this time,
And to add to that, I plan to be checking. I mean, our reality is we have to be able to eliminate the positions to get people sick. And so to me, it's absolutely irresponsible for people to operate outside of this declaration. And so if they do, I'll report it myself.
and I know that a lot of cities and states are closing down non-essential businesses. So my question is, nail salons, hair salons, is that something that's included in this state of the city emergency, or?
They are not. We don't think we're there yet. We will have another level that would include those types of businesses. Historically, those businesses are usually smaller, so they fall less than the 10 that has been recommended. So for right now, they're not included.
Mr. Mayor, there's a lot of people out there who are going to see this or watching it now and, having a hard time trying to find supplies. Your message to them for the Savannah area?
Well, hence, that's why we are being very judicious in terms of what we close. There's been a lot of people saying, well, the state of this is closed or the state of this is closed. The reality is that people still have to live. And so if we close everything down, then people can't get the things they need. Non-essential is really a subjective term because it depends on what's essential to you. If I need batteries for a hearing aid or for some essential medical advice in my home, that's essential to me. So again, for us, we're asking businesses, we need our business community to be engaged and involved during this time. We need them to be available to meet the needs of our citizens. And again, if that changes, then we'll change. But at this time, that's just not right where we are.
Mr. Mayor, what are the conversations like with the state leadership right now? I know in just the post that you put on Facebook about this declaration being signed, a lot of the comments are asking about daycares, about rent payments, things like that, that only the state or state intervention could help at this point. What are those conversations like?
It's very important at this point for people to understand their lanes. And so our lane is the city of Savannah only. My declaration does not apply to daycare, child care centers. They are regulated by the state. And we are a creature of the state, so to speak, so the state would have to regulate that. Obviously the governor has indicated multiple times that he would not close businesses, and he left it to local counties and cities to make their own decisions. So we've made the decision we think is best for Savannah at this time.
And Mr. Mayor, how does this affect the ports, if at all?
Again, the ports are owned by the state of Georgia, and so again, that would be totally up to the governor of the Georgia Ports Authority.
And yesterday I was riding by Forsyth Park. A lot of people tend to gather there. There were people playing basketball, things like that. Is that something you're looking at to limit, or what's that?
We're monitoring that as well, and we asked the city manager to make a recommendation as it goes to parks. Again, for us, we want to be reasonable. For example, Saturday, the farmers market will be open. We've asked them to use the social distancing because the fact is people need food. And we realize that people also need outlets to help calm their nerves at this time. And so, again, we want to make sure that we balance not only the public safety aspect, but the aspect for people not to get cabin fever or go stir crazy during this time. Emotions are really high, and I suspect tempers are real short. And so, again, we want to manage that as best we can during this time.
Mr. Mayor, what else would you like to say to those folks directly tuning in right now? I know there are a couple of live streams happening right now, and I know you covered a lot, but what else would you really like to push out there to people listening?
Well, we're doing the absolute best we can. I mean, I think everybody has recommendations. We should do this, we should do that, we should do this. Again, I mean, we didn't sign up for a pandemic, but here we are. And no one Standing behind me, these professionals, all the professionals that they represent, have ever seen anything like this ever before. And certainly, I'm sure all of you news outlets have never experienced anything like this before. So there is no playbook. There's no what to do next. We've done hurricanes. We know how to do hurricanes. You know we do A, B, C, D, E. You know, we work that out. We know we can evacuate, and then folks come back later. There's nowhere to evacuate to. And so we're just asking for people to be understanding about that, be patient about that. We're not perfect. We don't subscribe to be, and you did not elect perfect people. You know, we're citizens as well that are also concerned about our own families, concerned about our own welfare, and concerned about, and I think the council is extremely concerned about making the best possible decision without overreacting. Sometimes you can make the right move too soon and create a chain of events. So we're talking about not only safe health and welfare of our citizens, but we have 2,400 employees that work every single day, and they're apprehensive as well. So we're doing all we can to manage that. And then we have an economy that we have to kind of keep moving to some degree, because for every business that closes, that's people who are out of work, who now cannot afford the types of things that they need. So again, it's a lot of balls in the air. I will submit to you that I've been in this office every day for a good portion of the day, sometimes into the night, these individuals as well, meeting, conferencing as well. You know, it's very trying times for all of us, and we want people just to understand that and be understanding that we're trying.
Thank you.
Thank you. Criticism at this point gets us nowhere. And you know, certainly for you all and your news outlets, we thank you so much. Again, we're going to try to limit as much as we can, but we want y'all to take care of yourselves as well. Practice social distancing, clean those cameras, because I'm sure people touch them, and you know, we need you to be okay, because at the end of the day, you help us get our news out, and we help you help us to get the message out, and we appreciate you taking the time during these extraordinary times to come out and be with us. So if there's nothing else, all right, be blessed. Be blessed. May God bless Savannah. And we'll provide.
And that was Savannah Mayor Van Johnson talking about the city's efforts to help stop the spread of COVID-19. He talked about an emergency declaration that is now in place, and here's what falls under that. It does close certain businesses like your gyms, movie theaters, bowling alleys, live performance venues, bars and nightclubs that do not serve food. This all kicks in, I do believe, tomorrow morning for certain. 8 a.m. It is in effect tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. It appears it will expire April 5th, but that's still kind of in flux. That could go longer. It could be shorter. Obviously, the city will be monitoring that. They have stopped all of the guided tours. City employees will work remotely. Meter and garage parking will be free for the first hour. We are under now a local state of emergency as cities and counties and municipalities try to figure out how to handle this outbreak of COVID-19, something obviously we've been following here. There is more online right now at wsav.com/emergency as it pertains to this particular emergency declaration by the city of Savannah. Again, we do expect more information to come out as the days go on, but again, you will not be able to go to the gym, the movie theaters, the bowling alleys, live performance venues, all of the like there, at least for the time being under this emergency declaration. We are out of time this morning. We got to let you go for a little bit. I hope you have a great weekend. Have a good one. Remember to take precautions, common sense precautions, and continue to be well. Have a good one.